Yes, Suki. So you want the training videos by the end of the month. Would that be the 30th of October? Okay, so you want them by the 30th of October. Does it matter what time of day? Morning or afternoon? No? That's good. Okay, so I will have them to you by the 30th of October. Thanks, Suki. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Due dates. As you've just heard, I have a due date now on the 30th of October. What am I going to do with that? I have a lot of videos to record, well, 5 training videos to record for this company, but now I also have a deadline date, the 30th of October. What do I do with it? Well, that's the essence of this week's video. Start dates and due dates. This is something that I see some people really tie themselves in knots over and start demanding from task management producers that they need start dates and end dates. Well, why? Why do we need start dates and end dates? I want to put this to bed once and for all. In our productivity world, there are 3 essential tools. There's your task manager or to-do list. There's your calendar and your notes. Now, during that call with Suki, I actually wrote down in my notes the date of the deadline, which was the 30th of October. Now, I'm recording this on the 9th of October, so this effectively gives me round about, let's say, 3 weeks, just under 3 weeks, to actually do these videos. So now the question is when am I going to record the videos? The deadline date is fixed, so now I have a timeline in order to do this. But where do I put the deadline? Now, the truth is, when I see people on YouTube trying to explain about start dates and due dates, which I believe some task managers allow you to do, I feel like Cabane lame doing a video because there is a natural way of doing this. Deadlines go on your calendar. The reason for that is very, very simple. Deadlines are fixed. They're a fixed date. A task is not the same thing because a task can be done at any time. Now, maybe you choose to do a task on Mondays or Wednesdays or whatever date, you may choose to do it, but there's no fixed time to it. And if you can't do it that day, well, maybe you'll have to do it tomorrow. The task manager or your to-do list is very, very flexible. The calendar, on the other hand, are for those fixed specific things. So whenever you have a deadline, like I now have the 30th of October to produce these training videos, these go on my calendar. Now, I just don't need to really color code this, but if you really want to highlight all these, then you could create a new calendar in your calendar app, and you can call it deadlines and give it the color red. That means they will stand out at the top of your to-do list or your calendar. Now, the thing about this is this all works on the premise that you are doing at least a weekly planning as well as a daily planning. Now, when you do the weekly planning, you essentially are looking at your calendar anyway, and you would see, oh, I have a deadline date coming up on Wednesday, or I have a deadline date coming up in 10 days' time. I really must start this project now. That will give you the trigger for you to actually decide when are you going to start working on that project. It's a really simple thing. As I say, I feel a bit like Cabane lame because I'm going, it's a very simple thing. The problem when you start trying to get your to-do list to do all this is that now you've got 2 dates on a task, you've got all sorts of like buttons and things coming up, and when you actually put the task in, you're now having to think of 2 dates. Task managers are for grabbing stuff, collecting stuff and throwing them into your inbox so you can decide about them later. The calendar, on the other hand, as I say, it's about fixed, committed appointments or events. A deadline is an event that goes on your calendar. We don't need to reinvent the wheel about this. It's really quite simple to do. And just trying to add more and more stuff into your to-do list is just adding complexity that you don't need. The other problem you'll find with having your due dates or deadlines in your task manager is task managers by their very nature are going to have a lot more stuff in them than your calendar. Your calendar only tells you the truth. These are your 24 hours today. This is what you're committed to doing. It's kind of like it's a non-negotiable part of your day. You've got a meeting with your boss at 10 a.m. You're not going to ignore it and not turn up. You're going to turn up. That's what your calendar's there for. It's very, very focused view of your day. A task manager, on the other hand, is not focused. I mean, you can try and get it focused. Todoist, for example, gives us these flags and we can manipulate how it's all shown to us. But still, I'm going to have perhaps 15 to 20 things in my daily to-do list every day. My calendar, I'm probably only going to have like 4 or 5 appointments, and on really busy days I may have 6 or 7, but they're in blocks and it's on that day and I cannot miss them, and I am committed to being in a certain place at a certain time on that given day. That's what a deadline is. That's where you put your due dates, if you like, in your calendar. Now, in this case with Suki, it doesn't matter when I send it to on the 30th of October. It could be in the morning, the afternoon, or even the evening. All I need to do is just put that into my all-day events on that particular day on the 30th of October, send training videos to Suki, job done. It's in there. Now, I'm going to see that over the next 2 weeks when I do my weekly planning. Because I always look ahead 2 or 3 weeks when I do the weekly planning for any deadlines that I may have. That way I can say, oh, I really need to start recording these videos for Suki. So then I can put that into my to-do list and decide when I'm going to do it. Now, I usually do my videos on a Wednesday, so it's more likely over the next 2 Wednesdays, that's when I'm going to record those videos. It's not a hard rule, but generally Wednesdays is when I record videos. The deadline is in my calendar. I cannot miss it. It's there and it's filtered. It's a focused view. I'm not going to miss it, and it doesn't really matter when I record these videos. I could record them on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Doesn't matter. What matters is the deadline, and that I am aware of that deadline, and the best place for that is going to be your calendar. I'm pleading with you to stop overcomplicating task managers. You don't need start dates and due dates. They just confuse things, make things more complicated, and it gives you another excuse to fiddle around with your task manager. When you're fiddling around with the task manager, you're not doing the work. You want to make sure that when you do the weekly planning, you have a pretty good idea of what is important that week and that you've scheduled enough time to get that work done. That's all you need. It doesn't really matter when you do it. All that matters is you've finished it by the 30th of October, and that is going to be in your calendar, if you like, in bright red. I do that actually. I put all my content deadlines in red on my calendar, as you can see here. That way, when I'm doing my weekly planning, I can decide when I'm going to work on creating that content. I hope you found this video useful. Now, don't forget, if you want to learn more about my whole system, then you can do so with my latest Todoist setup right here.